Hi guys, Christy here from the Stamp Cycle and welcome to day 2 of my 2016 holiday card series. Today's card is another simple and easy card that you could make mass produce for your holiday cards. This card came about actually as an accident. You'll see when I get into the background piece here, I'll describe how I messed up and how I liked that mess up and ended up actually using it for the card. So I started out with a piece of Whisper White cardstock. It's cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I ran it through my Big Shot using the On Point Textures embossing folder. I like this embossing folder for Christmas cards because I think the little triangles look a lot like Christmas trees. So here is where I did my boo-boo, and it actually ended up looking decent, so I went with it. So I'm using my brayer here and my Mossy Meadow ink pad. Now when you go to use your brayer, you want to roll the brayer up all the way up the ink pad in the same direction. You don't want to go back and forth like I just showed you there. You want to have a continuous upward stroke when you are inking up your brayer, so that way you don't have any places on the brayer that is not evenly inked up. So then when I started to apply this ink onto my card with the brayer, I was trying to just get the embossed trees colored with this ink. Well, that didn't work. The brayer actually touched the background and wasn't coloring the trees as solidly as I wanted them to. I did try to take the brayer and just gently put it across those trees, but it still would touch the background. And looking at this, I kind of like the way it ended up looking with the brayer coloring a little bit of the trees, but then also hitting the back of that piece of paper. The stamp set that I'm using for this card is kind of rustic looking, so this gave me a rustic looking background. So I thought, what the heck, I'm going with it. I think it's going to work. So when you go to clean your brayer, all you have to do is just run it under some water and it cleans up very easily. So I did still want to have some of those trees in a solid color. So I just took my Mossy Meadow Stampin' Right marker and just colored in a few of those trees to give me that solidly colored, I don't even think that's a word, trees here on my card front. So now I wanted to add some ink splatters to kind of go along with more of that rustic effect. So I just took my Mossy Meadow ink pad, smushed it onto a acrylic block, and I took a lot of water here to thin out that ink. And I'm just going to then use my paintbrush and flick it off the side of my acrylic block here. And this creates really nice splatters. I like doing splatters this way because I feel like I'm able to control the amount of splatter that hits my card. I wanted to add some splatters of gold too, so I have this irresistible colored texture spray. I did the same thing, put it onto my clear block, added just a little bit of water for this, and then just flick that on to my background. So now moving on to the stamp set that we're using. This is a stamp set by Hampton Art. I got it from Michael's for like $3.50. It came with that matching die, so super good deal. Thought it was really cute. I love the reindeer, so that's what we're using today. So check out your Michael's. You might be able to get it for $3.50. But I'm stamping that reindeer head in early espresso ink onto a piece of crumb cake. I'm going to use that coordinating die that came with the stamp set to cut this little reindeer head out. And I really like the negative piece of this die cut, so I might end up using that on a card too, but I wanted to show you how cute even the negative was. And so now I'm going to take that Happy Holiday stamp set, this stamp, it also came in that same stamp set, and I'm just going to heat emboss it on a piece of crumb cake. Nope, just kidding. This is cherry cobbler using white embossing powder. And now I'll just heat that with my heat tool and get that embossing powder nice and set. And then I'm going to move on to fussy cutting out this sentiment. I knew I wanted to apply this across the bottom of my reindeer cutout, so I just fussy cut this out. Now I have some birch wood cardstock from Altenew. This is like a veneer cardstock, and I'm going to cut that out using some of my stitch circle dies. And this will create the focal point for our card. So now I have the Pretty Pine Thinlits. I'm going to use that smallest pine die there, and I'm going to cut out 2 pieces of Mossy Meadow and 2 pieces of Old Olive. And then I'm just going to start putting together the focal point of my card. So I have some glue dots here. I'm going to take one of the Mossy Meadow pine dies, and I will adhere that with one of the Old Olive. And then I'll adhere that into the center here of the die cut, the circle die cut. And then I'll do that again with the other 2. And then now I want to pop that deer die cut out. So I'm going to use some 3M foam mounting tape. I'll just apply that to the back of my deer head. And then I will pop that up right into the center of those pine needle die cuts there. And then for the sentiment, I wanted it to be on the same level as the deer head. So I'm going to just cut out little pieces of that foam mounting tape, apply that to either end of the banner, and then use some Ranger Multi-Medium Matte glue in the center so that the edges that are hanging over the deer also have that same level of dimension as the deer. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So I'll just use my tweezers and apply that to the center of the deer there. I have a top folding A2 card base made out of some Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to just glue that panel down to the front of this card using some Tombow multi-purpose glue. I like this glue because it gives you a little extra time to wiggle around those layers to get perfect placement. And now I'm just going to adhere that panel piece to the front of my card using some Ranger Multi-Medium Matte. This is very strong glue, so you can assure that your focal point is not going to come off your card in the mail. The last little finishing touch I'm going to do to this card is I'm going to add a little bit of glimmer and sparkle using my Spectrum Noir sparkling pen. This is in the clear. This pen gives a lot of shine, a lot of sparkle, and it gave this card just a little bit of shine. So here are the 2 finished cards. Like I said, these should be pretty easy to mass produce. Thank you guys for stopping in today for day 2 of my holiday card series, and I will catch you guys on the next video. For more info, stop by my blog at www.thestampcycle.com. Bye!